Good evening and welcome to this holiday edition of the Buddy Barton Show on a Monday night. You won't get us for 2 nights this week, so listen up, folks. Got a good show for you tonight. Shane Matthews standing by, QB1. Get his thoughts on a lot of things. We haven't talked to him since really the Gasparilla Bowl. Then we've got Franz weighing in with lots of stuff. Loren Meadows will be here. I'm going to ask the question tonight: are you paying attention to the basketball team? Do you realize the prosperity you're having right now with a run of 17-0? Since November the 16th, neither the basketball team nor the football team have lost a game. Good things ahead and maybe a lot more. My column tonight, posted now on Gator Bait, is Florida has a shot now. All of a sudden a shot. And that's all you could ask. That's what Jimmy Carter said one time. R.I.P. to him, the 35th president. Stand by. Coming up next, Shane Matthews, the great one, right here on the Buddy Martin Show.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome to Meldon Law Monday. Yes, the 30th. It's next to last day of the year. Can you believe it? 2024, it's gone. Gonzo. Here we are, still settled in for the long haul, and it looks like a pretty good year ahead. As I said in my column on Gator Bait, Florida's got a shot now in football. Got a shot. And in the end, that's all you can ask. That's what happened to Shane Matthews when he came to Florida and got a shot when Steve Spurrier came along, and the rest is history. Talked to the HBC today about his shot when he got it. He got several. First of all, he got hired by Doug Dickey at Florida for 1 year. Then that staff got let go. Then he went to Georgia Tech, Pepper Rogers, 1 year. Then that staff got let go. And finally he was hired to call the plays at Duke. So anyway, it's the rest history. And he says he's grateful for all those shots. I'm sure this guy is grateful for the shot he got from the HBC when he came along and what they did for each other. Shane Matthews, good evening to you, Shane. Happy New Year. I guess it's not too early to say that.
Yeah, buddy. Happy New Year to you. Man, I just saw the Lions ran the hook and ladder to perfection for a touchdown. It was incredible.
I love watching them play. They're fun. They're fun to watch. Brings some joy to the NFL. All right, before we get into NFL talk, I wrote the question today, is Florida basketball and football school? Now, I say that somewhat in tongue-in-cheek because we know it's a football school. But I know you've been following the progress of Todd Golden's team. And even though he hadn't played a very tough pre-SEC schedule, I really like what I'm seeing, Shane. They got a tough schedule, though. They play Tennessee twice the first 31 days, and they play the number 2 team, Auburn, right after that. So, tough schedule. It's tough being in the SEC these days. What have you seen you like so far with the basketball team?
Well, it's not just tough for the Gators. It's tough for everybody that's in the SEC, regardless if you're the number 1 or number 2 team in America. There'll be 12 or 13 of the 16 teams make the tournament. That's how good it is. They're long. They're athletic. Have an All-American player in Walter Clayton Jr. Fun team to watch. The guy that kind of, to me, is the guy that makes everything go is Will Richard. He's a tremendous rebounding guard. And if he's on his game, they're going to be tough to beat.
Which he was knocking down those threes. I'd cherry pick, as you know, as I did in football. I cherry picked a couple of guys before the season started, and I cherry picked a guy last year I really liked a lot. He obviously is not one of the stars of the team because it's a 3-guard team. Let's be honest, what they've got there, and why wouldn't they? Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin, and Will Richard, those guys. But I really, really, really like the game of Alex Condon. And you take guys like Condon and Thomas Wall and Sam Alexis and Denzel Everding, those are the guys who will make your bench longer for you. And when you get to the postseason, or excuse me, the SEC season, even though your rotation is cut down, as we all know, they start playing 8 or 9 players. Still, when you get people hurt, that bench helps a lot. How much will that help Todd Golden in the season, Shane?
Well, they're very deep. I mean, you kind of know what his rotation is going to be. You've seen it all preseason, so to speak. They got, like I said, they're long. They got a lot of length, height, athleticism. They play hard. Got a lot of different guys that can score the basketball. It should be a fun ride. But I mean, they're going to lose a bunch of games in the SEC. Everybody is, but it's a team that can make a lot of noise in the NCAA tournament.
A lot of people are kind of saying, hey, they could be a Final Four team. It's a little early for that, but certainly.
Oh, they could easily be.
They certainly got talent, and I think the coach has proved himself. Done a really good job of coaching the difficult situation during his semester, during his personal life. As we all know, we don't know what to say about that because we know nothing, so we won't say anything about it other than be nice to see if it can be resolved, but we'll see. The courts decide that. Now, all right, we waited, we asked for it. Now we got the playoffs. We finally got them. But before we go there and talk about what's coming up this week, let's talk about this Florida football team because I couldn't get your broadcast of the Gasparilla Bowl. I don't know why. A lot of people I know couldn't get it, whatever. So I didn't get a chance to hear your take on it during the game. But certainly, I know what you said. I think impressive performance, especially after they had a slow start and got going. And this team is better on defense, I think, than I thought they were. There is some talent there, Shane.
Yeah, Tulane had the worst college quarterback I've seen at any level. I've never seen a quarterback that bad. But we played well enough. I mean, we ended the season we went in 4 games. We win 8 games during the regular season. It was a good way to end going into the all season. Looking towards next year, I'm still you like the defense. I'm still concerned about the defense. I think we've been fortunate the last 3 or 4 games, even though we beat some really good teams. We were fortunate that those teams, they went up and down the field on it. And I'm not talking about Tulane. I'm talking about the other games. So we'll see. I mean, the portal's closed. It'll reopen in the spring. Mm-hmm. We've added some players, probably not as many as most people wanted. Some guys have transferred. Some guys are going to the NFL. That all happens. But you got to feel pretty good leading into next year. Should be a fun year. I think the Gators will be talked about a lot in the off season. Exactly.
I'm hearing a lot of people who've been middle of the road, people jumping on the bandwagon now. People I don't even know who say, I like this Florida team. They're jumping, and that's fine. Come on, jump on. There's room. A lot to be improved on the football team, as we know. I don't know the answer to this, Shane. You know a lot more than I do. You got better sources, but I keep hearing they're going to make a change in defensive coordinator. All right. Well, one guy's gone and the other guy, I don't know. If there's a change, who do they get? How does that change things on defense? What's your take on that, Shane?
Well, I've been hearing that for the last 6-7 weeks. Nothing's happened yet. So I don't know what to believe. I think there's going to be changes on the entire within the staff. I don't know when all that's going to happen on both sides of the ball. So, look, it happens all over America. Guys get fired. Guys take jobs that they think are better. It's just part of the business.
Today I wrote a column about a quote, everybody deserves a shot. The man who said it was Jimmy Carter. May he rest in peace. That's what he told the sitting president when he went to office. That would be Joe Biden. I don't care what your politics are. This is not what that's about. And the comment stuck with me. Everybody deserves a shot. And that is the essence of what we believe in sports. And that's why we love underdogs. We can find ourselves pulling for Vanderbilt, thinking they deserve a shot. And I got thinking about that. Well, now Steve Spurrier got his shot. I talked to him today from his coach, Ray Graves. He got it from three guys, and Doug Dickey and Pepper Rogers and Red Wilson as an assistant. He's very grateful to them. Certainly, Urban Meyer got a shot. They both won national championships. Now, Billy Napier got two shots. One, he should have been gone probably after his terrible start. Scott Strickland came in and gave him a second shot. Now, as things shape up, you think they should be able to compete for those 12 playoff positions. And if they do, what can happen? They'll get a shot, Shane. You came to Florida and you got your shot when John Reeves kind of discovered you there on the scout team, and you impressed him and then you impressed Coach Spurrier, and you got picked from, they say, fifth string. I think it might have been sixth. I was there at the time. And you showed them what mistakes they have made. Coach, you got your opportunity. You got a shot, and you took full advantage of it. Two-time MVP in SEC and all the great things you did when the SEC, when you get your shot. Billy Napier has his shot, and he got a sort of a reprieve on the vote of confidence from Scott Strickland. Will that turn out to be the right one?
I mean, time will tell. I think next year, I'm just hoping after week 4 or 5, we're feeling pretty good about the team and not saying defense isn't doing this, the offense can't block anybody, whatever. Time will tell. Like I said, they won 4 in a row. It's been a long time since we won 4 in a row. You got to feel good going into next year, but none of that's going to matter when you kick it off game 1 next year. It's a whole new season, and got to go find a way to be relevant. That's the key, is you got to be relevant.
Yeah, I think they're getting irrelevant somewhat. We'll see if they can do it on the field. That's the question. Certainly when you start picking off players like Wilson, the kid was going to Oregon and now going to Florida, number 2 receiver in the country. I don't know how to evaluate the wins and losses in the portal and recruiting. It seems as though at least they did pretty well there. I know you still think they ought to get a couple of experienced wide receivers, but you look at that receiver room, there's some talent in that receiving room, Shane. You still think they need to go find a couple of guys in the portal as receivers?
Well, they did. They got one kid from UCLA.
Yeah, started right. They got one.
They may want another one. I don't really know. I mean, I feel like we've had a lot of good young talent here at the receiver position. Just a lot of them haven't had many opportunities to get on the field. So that's the thing is, sometimes if you have too many of them, a lot of them just get stuck on the sidelines if you're running 11 and 12 personnel all the time. So it's good. I mean, guys got to come. We got some guys supposedly that are great playmakers. We'll see if they play as true freshmen or not.
You're not a proponent of playing a bunch of people. I know you want to see them get the best.
I want to play the best players. I mean, the bottom line is to win the football game.
Right.
And there's reasons why you are starters. Those are your best players.
Right.
But you can go 4 wides, you can go 5 wides. So you have actually 4 wide receivers or 5 wide receivers in the field. We're not going to ever do that. So you're only playing 2 or 3 receivers at a time, and it's just hard to get them all playing time.
But the wide receiver coach, Billy, is really good at developing a lot of talent at one time. He sent 4 guys to the league 2 years ago, and he what do you think of him? He's very precise. He like Spurrier in that regard, and he develops talent. Do you think he's the right guy for them at Florida right now?
Who?
Billy
Napier?
No, Gonzalez.
Oh, Billy's got a track record of being a good wide receiver coach. I mean, the year that 4 guys went to the NFL or got drafted or whatever it was,
Yeah,
we played a lot of 4 wides when Trask was the quarterback.
right. Good point.
Billy's he did a great job when Urban was the head coach. I'm not worried about the developing. I'm just talking about getting them on the actual playing field.
Yeah.
It's just hard. I mean, I like Tank Hawkins a lot. I like Aiden Mizell a lot. I just, you can only the way we play, you're just not going to put all these guys out on the field at the same time unless they change their philosophy.
And they're not throwing it 40 times a game. So that's, you don't get that many chances.
Well, you don't have to throw it 40 times a game to put 4 wide receivers out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see it happening. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I want to get to that in a sec, but first, let me get forward this question from one of our listeners, Jamie Coolady. I hope I'm saying that right. Do you think Billy will continue to be the play caller? I sure hope these young receivers are able to contribute. Badger was a big help. Your comments?
I do think he'll be the play caller. I mean, I think Russ Callaway called the bowl game, from what I was told. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm going to stick by that. I do not think they'll hire an offensive coordinator. Here's the thing, buddy. I don't know who people want to go hire. Right? Nobody can give me names of offensive coordinators around the country. No. And secondly, you're going to have people call your show next year complaining about whoever this offensive coordinator is, because everybody thinks every play's supposed to score a touchdown, and that's not the case.
Well, you've always told me we all have the same plays.
Everybody has the same plays. Nobody has any secret plays.
What made Spurrier so great was his ability to set it up and call it at the right time, Yeah. And I think the other ability early on was he was able to communicate with the quarterback, Shane, and get plays. And he gave the quarterback the freedom to make the change, right, at the line of scrimmage. You guys did, right?
Yeah, that ain't going to happen in today's football.
No, not going to happen with Billy.
Well, it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen anywhere in America anymore. Not in the college.
Not enough talent at the quarterback position, or why?
No, that's just coaches. Coaches don't trust
quarterbacks. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. All right, so let's talk about. Well, let me do this real fast. I want to go ahead and remind folks about our sponsor, Meldon Law. Well, they, of course, have 4 locations to serve you, and they can do it very well. I just had a recent legal matter I took to them. I'm very pleased with how they handled it, and I trust them in getting me to the right place to the right person. Meldon Law, they've been around for a long time. Jeffrey's a huge Gator fan, as you know. They give away stuff to the fans. Go to their Facebook page and see the loot they got that you can get. And if all you got to do is log on and answer some questions, and bingo, you're there. They got 4 locations to serve you now, including Ocala, Gainesville, Lake City, and Williston. So check them out. And remember, they won't back down either. Meldon Law. All right. So Shane, you want to do the playoffs again? Talk about what we got here and who's going to win, etc. How you like the drawings and the pairings. There's a lot of things we don't like, obviously. I don't think we're all happy with it.
Well, here's my thoughts.
Okay.
I have no problems with the playoffs. Everybody thinks the games are supposed to be competitive. I don't understand why they think that. But I'm going to give you some stats.
All right.
Here's some stats. I put these on my show last week.
Okay.
Last year in the National Football League, first round of the playoffs, average margin of victory, 17.5 points a game. College football playoffs, first round, average margin, 19.2 points. All right. In the 10 years of the 14 college football playoff, in the semifinals, which is the first round, average margin of victory, 16.6 points per game. And those were on neutral sites. Those weren't even home games. So there's nothing different. And I think the only problem with the playoff system is they should have reseeded it. And just because you win a conference championship, you should not get a bye.
Yeah.
But I've had zero problem with it. I think everybody thinks the games are supposed to be competitive, but they're not. And you go back and you look at the semifinals, like I just gave you the stats right here. Even national championship games have been blowouts. So
they have the best teams. That's the question.
Well, I mean, the best teams sometimes don't get in the NFL playoffs, right? You got some teams that end up just because they win their division, they can have a losing record. I mean, a couple of years ago, the Seattle Seahawks were like 7-9 and hosted a game, right? They're not the best team. It's just the way it's set up. I have zero problems with it. I know other people do, but I have zero problems with it.
Well, we're going to have to perfect it. Here's the thought. And we talked about this today. I talked with Franz about it earlier today. How would you like to see the teams eventually expanded to 32 or whatever the number is, and then play them all down to the bowl system?
Well, I want to have 24 teams like FCS does.
Okay.
I don't care how you do it with the bowls or whatever. They can figure all that out. But I think they need to have 24 teams. The FCS has been doing it since the early 70s, and there's nothing wrong with the way they do it. Like I said, people are going to watch it, whether you want to complain about blowouts or not. It happens on Sundays in the playoffs, and it happens every year in college football. Not every game is going to be competitive. I mean, think about Florida's national championship games, buddy. Were any of them competitive?
No.
Okay.
Including the one they lost.
Which one did we lose? Well, the national. Yeah. So none of them. So my point is the playoffs are, and we're going to watch games tomorrow and then on Wednesday, and some of those games aren't. Ohio State and Oregon, people think it's going to be competitive. It could be a blowout for all we know. But I don't have any problems with it.
Okay. If you could make any changes other than what you just said, what would you make?
The only changes I would make was when they when you get your 12 teams, which they had this year, Arizona State and Boise, in my opinion, had no business having a bye. Zero. I think because you should go back and reseed everybody. And just because they won their conference championship, I mean, Ohio State, quite honestly, probably should have had a bye. They shouldn't have been playing week 1. But that's all I would do. And I'd have 24 teams.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. So who do you like to win it all? Georgia?
I think Georgia and Texas, in my opinion, have the best chance of winning it all. But I think both of those teams are going to win tomorrow or whenever they play. I don't know if any other.
I think Wednesday they play, right?
Yeah. Penn State plays Boise tomorrow. I think Boise can beat them. I really do.
Yeah. You do. You like Boise. You're good. You like
that running back.
Yeah, I had you back at my Heisman.
Yeah, but I mean, he played it the wrong year because he is phenomenal, and what he has done is ridiculous. He is a good running back. I mean, it's
not a big guy at all, but he certainly is good. He's very strong for a young first ball guy. Although he's 190-something pounds, he is, so he's not tiny.
Yeah, I don't know how big he is, but he's thick.
Like 5'9", 190 pounds or something. But he's also very elusive, and he's obviously a very good player. So you think Boise might win?
I do. I think they're a good football team. Penn State does not do much for me. The score wasn't the indication of how the game was against SMU. SMU went up and down the field on them, and it should have been 7-0 on the first drive of the game, and then it was 14-0 the other way, and Penn State hadn't even scored an offensive touchdown. They had 2 pick sixes. So, Ashton Genty is 5'9", 220.
Oh, he's 220, that big. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's about Emmett size.
Is that what Emmett was? Was he that heavy?
Emmett was about 5'9",
Mm-hmm.
215, 220.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So am I missing something? But where's the excitement I was hoping to have at this point in time? Is it just me?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's just you, buddy. I think it's a lot of people. But I enjoyed the games because I don't watch a game as a normal fan to be excited on the edge of my seat, because I'm looking at the X's and O's, the strategy, the play calling. And like I said, if you poll most people, they'd be like, SMU just got drilled by Penn State. SMU was in that football game for a long time and had a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm in the minority. I don't really care, but I have zero problems with the college football playoffs.
Now, there's a lot going on in Miami, a lot going on there. Cam Moore's getting hammered. I'm not sure all of it's justified. It appeared probably worse than it was. I heard a guy on a podcast earlier say he understood it, that Cam Moore and Cristobal had an agreement before the game started.
Well, he just wanted to break that record. That's all he wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I don't know why people care. I mean, look, NFL scouts are not going to care what happened. He's going to get drafted pretty high. I don't know what kind of pro he'll be. He had a great college career. And, I mean, he went in there, broke the NCAA record, whatever it was for touchdowns. I don't even know what it was. I can't remember. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, that's today's modern-day football players. You know, Malik Neighbors did it for LSU last year in the bowl game. He broke a record and he took himself out. And he was the first pick by the New York Giants, and he's having a hell of a year as a rookie. So I don't think anybody cares, quite honestly.
Well, I mean, a lot of fans do care because there's a lot about it on social media. You don't do much social media. There's a ton of fans. And there's some guys who had, I'm sure, the over in yardage for Cam Ward, and he got yanked, you know. And then Cristobal never came out and said what happened. He said, no comment. Those are private. Well, it's not private when your fans are putting big dollars down on players and you're taking them out of the game without explaining. They don't have an obligation to say anything?
Well, yes and no. I mean, who's to say Cam Ward could have tweaked his ankle the second play of the game?
Let's say that.
Right, but you're talking about the guys that bet money on him.
I don't know. Do you have an obligation to I mean, when Pete Rozelle started with the NFL, one of the things they did was to make sure they had an honest line. He went to all the bookies to figure out how to get that. And that's when they said, you got to have an injury report. That's why the NFL.
No. What I'm saying is Buddy Martin bets whatever on Cam Ward, right?
Yeah.
He's playing in the game. The 10th play of the game, he gets blindsided, driven into the ground. That's concussion. He's done.
Yeah.
He's done for the game. You lost your bet on Cam Ward's passing yards.
Right.
What's the difference between that and them taking him out?
Difference, coach's decision is one thing. Injuries.
Or the player could have said, I ain't playing after I break the record.
I guess you can. I'm just saying what's right. I don't know. I don't bet on the games. I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm just saying I hear what you're saying, what the fans are saying, but I don't know how anybody would bet on these bowl games anyway, because you don't know half the players are sitting out.
Well, you know what? You can bet on a guy you think is a great player, getting certain yardage, I guess. I don't bet on it. I couldn't tell you. But, I mean, there's things. I mean, you know, look, how about the whole Miami mess down there now? They're really getting really hammered by people that they're doing tailspin at the end of the season. Cristobal came out a couple of days ago, really a week ago, and said Miami's trajectory is up. The rest of the state schools, not the case. I think if you looked at Florida's trajectory and Florida's trajectory is up based on that, and Miami's is not, losing all those, 3 in a row games they lost and kind of bombing at the end. They had hopes of getting to the playoffs, Shane. All of a sudden, that team came apart. Did you see the video of the two players fighting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did see it. I mean, it was fun to watch them lose that game. Anytime Miami loses, it's a good thing.
For sure. All right, so let me bring in Rob Brown real fast here as you wind you down here for a
This
moment.
Monday night game is ridiculous, buddy. Nobody's punted in it.
What's going on? What's going on?
It's 21-13. Nobody's even punted.
Really? It's my kind of game. I like that.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's just dicing up the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you like what Tampa Bay did? Baker Mayfield coming on like a terror in that big game yesterday. And
I didn't see any of the Bucs game.
He had a great game. And then, of course, because Washington won, they get in now. If they went out the rest of the last
they got to win next week, right?
Yeah, they got to win it, which they should do. They got a pretty easy game. But anyway, so back to the question. You have no information at all, I'm sure. You would share it if you did. What is going to be do you feel like in your belly that Ron Roberts is going and the defensive coordinator will be somebody new at Florida? Shane, what do you think?
Like I said, I've been hearing that for months. I have no new news or haven't heard anything new, but I would lean to probably there will be a different defensive coordinator. I don't know who that would be.
Yeah. All right. So you willing to sign off on what Billy's done so far? You feel good about what the situation is as far as we know with the portal and all that, Shane?
Yeah. I mean, I don't follow recruiting. I don't follow the portal. Whoever is suited up for us week 1 next year, that's who I'll support and pull for. Next year is a huge year. I mean, enormous. I don't know how else to put it. You got to win at least 9 games.
I agree. You have to progress. Now you won 8. If you're going to have the so-called trajectory, they got to win 9. They got that brutal part of the schedule. If you go and look at it, they play LSU the 3rd game of the season, come home and play Texas, and go right back out to College Station to play A&M. Now that's brutal.
Well, it is, but we thought this year's schedules would be brutal, and there was a lot of bad teams on that.
True.
I mean, A&M won as many games as we did. Think about that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I don't look at the schedule and go, that's really hard, because you never know what's going to happen.
Let's get Rob in real fast before you go and say, I know, Rob, good. First of all, Happy New Year. Hello, how you doing? And before Shane goes, you follow this in your SEC Sidelines show a lot. I know you know the trends and stuff, and the schedule is tough again. Are you hearing much about the schedule and about Florida?
Always will, but I love what Shane just said. Shane, I love hearing you on the radio. I mean, listen to you on Sirius XM, wherever we are. The Gators are playing. You're awesome color analyst. And I like what you just said. Screw it. I'm not going to waste my time. Whoever shows up, suits up for the Gators, that's who I'm for. You're right. And you're honest. But when we were picking the Gators in the preseason, we looked at the schedule, and Roman Harper comes on the show a good bit with us, and he and Cole Kubelik talked about logo fever. Remember, Shane, everybody said that last 5 games. Oh, these teams. I said, well, they're never as good as they're not all as good as you think they are. And some of them are going to disappoint you. And I picked the Gators to win 8 games preseason. It's on this show. Early on, didn't look good, but they got their stride. They got rolling later, and they won 3 of those last 5. And if, DJ Lagway stays healthy in the Georgia game, you may have won 4 of the last 5. And who knows if he's healthy against Texas, but I'm with you. It's a 12-chapter book. You played 14 years in the NFL. I mean, you've forgotten more than we all know about it. But you get caught up in looking at the schedule in June and July, and it's totally different when you play the games. And as a player, didn't you see that happen a lot?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, you play in the Southeastern Conference. Week in and week out it's going to be hard no matter what.
Yeah.
It's way harder now than it was in the 90s. because people have money, they have facilities, they can buy players. So look, I picked us to win 8 games last summer, not counting the bowl win. So that kind of put us at number 8. Yeah. But look, I think Florida's got a chance. But next year, in my opinion, is this year people thought it was important for Billy. I think next year is even more important because you have to be late October. You have to be in the conversation about being in the 12-team playoff. You have to.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
They could. I mean, there's Georgia and there's Texas, and they got a tough road game, but they got to win now. And you're right, Shane. They got to win now to show progress next year. I do believe, and I don't believe they need an offensive coordinator either. And I don't think Billy's going to give that up.
Well, like I said, I don't know who you're going to hire, and then when they do hire that guy, people are going to be calling your show, my show, Rob's show, everybody's show, because they think you're going to score 50 points a game. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people want Hugh Freeze to hire a damn offensive coordinator. He had one.
They do.
He went to calling plays. You know, you just don't know what every game is different. Every game is different.
I mean, Shane, when you're doing color on the radio, and I don't know if you've done TV, but you're usually 3 or 4 plays ahead, just the way your mind works. Why does everybody think that every coach that's a good offensive guy, whether it's Chip Kelly, Steve Spurrier, Hugh Freeze, isn't calling plays? Why is it so hard to tell? And why do they often want to delegate that to other people?
I've never understood it. Those guys were blessed to call plays. Steve Sarkisian, Lane, you watch the NFL, Kyle Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings. These guys, it's a gift you have. Can you learn how to do it? Yes, but you have that instinct. It's just like playing quarterback. Yeah. Guys have the instinct. They have the it factor. You can go to your damn private coaches. You can do drills all year long. That ain't going to help you play the position. And like I said, I don't know why when a coach gets hired and has success, he then decides, okay, I'm going to turn it over to somebody else. Well, you're going to get your ass fired then. You got hired because of what you do. And that's what I tell people. Billy Napier was hired because of what he did at Louisiana. So I do not see how he's going to turn that over. I don't know why Hugh Freeze ever let anybody call plays. I don't know why Gus Malzahn lets anybody call plays. I don't know why Ryan Day is not calling plays. That's just my personal opinion. I know all these people talk about they got too much to worry about, game management. Football ain't that damn hard. We're not solving cancer here, folks.
Yeah.
They're going to make some coaching errors. You watch enough games on Sunday, the coaches that are coaching the best players in the world and these billion-dollar franchises, they're making mistakes all the time as well.
Yeah.
It's just part of the game.
Yeah. All right, solve this. Answer this, and I'll let you go. Bruce Green says, Billy's a terrible play caller. I know you don't think that.
I don't.
Good.
Well, I would like for him to tell me why he's a terrible play caller. We had over 500-something yards against Tulane. Now, it's a group of 5 team, but they've been pretty good on defense. Their head coach is a defensive-minded guy. The game would have been out of hand if DJ doesn't throw 2 interceptions in the end zone. I think people, if you had, Buddy, did you do talk radio when Coach Spurrier was coaching?
Absolutely, 96.
Yeah, did anybody call and bitch about some of his play calling?
All the time, but I mean,
yes.
Not that often.
My point is I saw Nick Saban the other day, and I meant to rewind it and put it on my phone. He was on College Game Day, and he was talking about when he used to talk to the players at Alabama about social media, and talk shows and all that. He said, if you guys, this is what he's telling his team, and I don't remember it verbatim. Maybe y'all saw it. He says, if you guys are going to sit there and listen to fat, sloppy guys in their underwear sitting in a basement that they know football more than we know football, then you need to quit or something along those lines. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I thought it was the greatest.
I resented it a little bit because that's not everybody. There are some of those fat, sloppy guys. There's some fat, sloppy coaches, by the way, too.
Well, it's the way it's just Saban's hilarious to me. It's just the way he said it. And Rob, you may remember exactly how he phrased it, but I thought it was a great quote.
Rob's not fat, sloppy.
Yeah, I heard him say it, but he's like, that's why when I listen to you, listen to Buddy, and you as with your experience as a player, and I watched you play, you speak from the heart, and you're a truth broker, and it's very much appreciated because you call it what it is, and I think we need more people to be doing that instead of trying to hold back, because that doesn't do anybody any good.
No, I mean, I look, I love football. Football, it's not hard, but it's not easy either. And I just know for a fact, whether it's Billy Napier or whoever, when they hire, I mean, think about Chip Kelly, right? Chip Kelly's had a lot of success as a college football coach, even in the National Football League, calling ball plays. They're raising hell about him at Ohio State, right? I mean, think about how dumb that is. He's one of the greatest play callers we've ever seen. It just doesn't always work out. In some games, you just get your ass beat by the other team.
Shane, how many plays do you usually have? Basic plays, 6, 8, what?
Oh, no, way more than that, buddy.
I mean, but your variations of those 6 and 8, right? Somehow.
No. I mean, when I was coaching high school ball, we had about 250 plays a game.
Yeah. Wow.
But the kids knew it. I mean, because out of the 200, I mean, to answer your question, probably 15 to 20 concepts.
Yeah.
But multiple ways to do it.
Yeah. I mean, the basic plays. I thought you had figured that. Okay. But you don't run all those concepts every game. So
no. It depends on what coverages you try to teach guys ball because you have multiple pass plays because not every play is good against the defense. And so you have to have multiple plays depending on what the other team is giving you. And it's your job as a play caller to try to attack the weakness of the defense.
Yeah.
And that was the great thing that's why I learned so much under Steve Spurrier. There's a good play for every defense. Now it's your job. If I'm trying to call that play, but if it's a shitty play, you're my quarterback. Get me in a good play. Now it didn't always work out.
Yeah.
I've been watching the series on SEC Saturday show.
Oh yeah,
which was made 6 years ago, and there's a chapter and a half on Spurrier, and I watched them again. I saw it all live when it happened. But when he's on the sideline, when he's rolling and you got that look on his face, he gets a hot hand. Young, good-looking guy. He was something to behold. Yeah. He was really something to watch, Shane. I know you fiercely. I mean, you just don't. What's it like to have a guy with that much swagger, who's so confident, who's got confidence in you, and you know he's going to find something that's going to work for you? What is that like to play for a guy like that?
Well, I don't think I realized how lucky I was until I was done playing, I guess. I guess I thought it was going to be not easy, but he had a knack. And I think, I saw a thing yesterday. I think what game was I watching? Whatever the game Tom Brady was announcing. And he was a teammate of Kevin O'Connell, who's the head coach of the Vikings. He was a backup from New England for maybe 2 years. And he was talking about backup quarterbacks because you don't practice, but you're helping coach everybody on the offense. The coaches coach, but you're telling receivers, what they should be doing against this look or whatever. And he said that's what Kevin O'Connell did, and that's why he's such a good football coach now. I think that's Coach Spurrier. He was a backup. I was a backup majority of my career. When I was with the Buffalo Bills, Sam Weiss was the quarterback coach. And he's like, look, man, you need to be a coach. I'm going to let you run the the quarterback meeting.
Really?
And so I did. I'm sitting here telling Drew Bledsoe, who's my age, we're the same age. I'm telling him what he needs to be doing in the game plan. But I loved it. And I just think Coach Spurrier, that by being a backup for all those years, prepared him to be a phenomenal coach.
And they say that the backup quarterbacks make the best coaches, supposedly because they get a great seat right there and see all out there in the game, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And Shane, I want to ask Shane another question about everybody. And I talked to Ellis Johnson on the show this morning, and of course he coached with Brother Oliver at Alabama. And I've always been a big admirer of Brother Oliver. I remember when he was with the Showboats in Memphis, he lived in Logan Young's back house, and he's pretty much a rock star in the world. He would stand in the backfield with the quarterbacks and the offense to look at the eyes of the defensive players to learn how to attack, offenses and stuff. What are you seeing now at the quarterback position other than we're taking these kids that are freshmen and trying to force them in there before they're ready? I remember talking to Pat Sullivan one time on my show in college, and he said, man, I couldn't play as a freshman. If they'd have put me out there as a freshman on the road in Gainesville or Knoxville or Athens, and I had a bad game, I don't know what would have happened. I had that freshman year. Would you expand on that? Because, again, you got an incredible Smithsonian institution of knowledge on football in their head.
Well, I think the game of football has changed. I think these kids with all the 7-on, I like 7-on-7, that kind of stuff, because it's competitive. It allows a quarterback to have to make tight throws, but it's not realistic because you don't have a rush. I don't care if they're going 1,001 or 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then they call you down, whatever it is. But a lot of the route concepts aren't real route concepts. It's just street ball. But I think kids doing that 7-on-7, so many people have their so-called private coaches or whatever. I think they're learning X's and O's a lot more than we did back in my day. And plus, I played 3 sports. Once football season was over, I was done. I'm going to basketball. When basketball's over, I'm going to baseball. I didn't do all that crazy stuff they do, all that training.
Yeah.
I think kids are specialized now, but I think from an X's and O's standpoint, DJ, his knowledge is pretty damn good for a true freshman.
Yeah.
And I don't know how old DJ is, whether he was held back. I think sometimes a lot of kids are being held back now. And they're just more mature physically. There's no way. I mean, I was 6'2", 165 pounds when I signed my scholarship. Nobody would even recruit me today if I was that small.
Yeah.
It's just I think that's the biggest thing nowadays is guys are bigger, stronger, faster, and 7-on-7's helped them. The quarterback coaches have helped them, and most high schools now are running what colleges. Back in those days, everybody lined up in the I in high school or ran the football and throw a little play action here or there, roll the quarterback out. Now they're running what you see on Saturdays.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, let's say Shane go get his milk and cookies. Are you doing a show tomorrow morning?
I am, buddy. You're going to be on it along with Mike Morgan from the SEC Network. We're going to talk
to Mike a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I'll be ready to go. And good job tonight, Shane. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your knowledge and sharing it with us. All right.
All right, guys. Rob,
Thank
take care.
Shane.
Buddy. Appreciate it.
Too.
Y'all take care.
Appreciate it.
Followed up with Matthews tomorrow morning. Don't forget it. We'll be on as well. So stand by for 1 second. I got a couple of guys trying to get in while we. Okay. All right. So tell me what's going on. How was the show this morning? I saw part of it with Ellis Johnson, and we're going to take a break and tell folks about our sponsors after you do that. All right.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And Tony Barnhart was on with Ellis Johnson talking about college football, where we stand. And look, we got to do something on the portal with guys transferring out before bowl games. Even teams that are in the playoffs are losing guys. We need to have one time of the year. The professional sports don't allow this mayhem. So there's a lot of stuff, it sounds like, going on behind the scenes to rein this stuff in. I don't know if we can do salary caps because of antitrust laws. That's what all this is about, antitrust. Supreme Court ruled 9-0. can't restrict the earnings potential or power of the student athletes. But we also talked about this Georgia Notre Dame game. Gunnar Stockton, he's a tough kid. You're going to see that. He's from up in Rayburn County, North Georgia. I said, that's where they filmed Deliverance. And then I see where Nick Saban was quoted as saying the same thing. I don't think it was because he was watching my show, but hey, we'll take credit. But
it sure he was.
Hey,
By the way,
we are.
Check out my Gator Time X.
I love that.
This
hey,
is
buddy.
From my stepson. Yeah,
that's
he gave
cool.
it to me. Yeah, I'll put it on too. I've got the time now right here. So
hey, I got to
hold on 1 second. We're going to bring it. We're going to tell you about our sponsor. We're going to bring on Loren Meadows for a minute. He'll be hosting tomorrow night. I think we're not planning to have a show Wednesday night, so there's a lot going on. How's your show going, Shane? Rob, so far in the holiday season?
It's good. I mean, we're doing a lot more. Like tomorrow is going to be Jordan Davis Hill, 24/7 Sports on Georgia on the Notre Dame game. He's in New Orleans, and then we're going to have Ken Capps covering Texas. He's in Atlanta for the Texas-Arizona State game. And then Ruben Pizarro. He is the voice of the Texas Longhorns Spanish broadcast. They're all over Texas, Mexico, Argentina, Spain. They're all over the world. He's been doing it for 30 years.
Oh, you're going to do the whole show with this?
Well, I said, ¿cuántos años hace que vive en los Estados Unidos, señor?
Okay.
He said, 30 años.
All right.
He's an exciting guy.
In English, we're going to tell you about Titan MRI. We're going to bring our friend Loren on. He may still be at sea, but we'll get him on anyway for a second. Stand by, Loren. Stand by.
Yes, sir.
Rob, I'm going to tell you about Titan MRI and Imaging. Important news. They have changed ownership. They're now Titan MRI and Imaging. They acquired high-field MRI. Joe Coloria started the high-field MRI in 1997. Now he's back. Titan MRI and Imaging now has 3 locations, 2 in Gainesville, was Park Avenue location, and the Millennium Center, and 1 in Lake City. And, of course, they're getting ready to move one soon to Ocala. Titan MRI and Imaging offers the same great customer service. They do take your insurance now, accept their insurance through their convenient self-pay options. Titan MRI Imaging offers MRIs, CT scans, X-rays, and ultrasounds. Easy scheduling with lots of options for the evenings. Titan. It's the same Titan MRI, except it's Titan MRI Imaging. Check them out. All those locations to help you. Good evening to you, Loren. Are you still at sea or are you home?
No, I'm in the lab now. So
all right.
I'm here. Got back Saturday. Had a nice time, and here we are. Just got a lot going on. Big games next couple of days. So fired up.
Hey guys, check me on this. We have 1 game tomorrow and 3 Wednesday. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
We got Boise tomorrow night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Penn State.
Boise, Penn State.
Yeah. 3 games on Saturday, right?
Yes, sir.
A lot of criticism about it. Rob, I know you had some things to say. We're not going to get too deep in the weeds on this because obviously there's things that got to be tweaked. Mm-hmm. But if the wrong team wins, and I just remember seeing this special on the SEC that I was on, and it was a story about Shane. If Shane and taking his team up to Birmingham and beaten Alabama and knocked them out of the national championship, there probably wouldn't have been any more conference championships. That's what happened.
Yeah, we wouldn't. We would not be here. And ironically, that's the night I became a Florida fan. So literally that night, sitting in Ada, Ohio, that's where it happened. Watching Shane and rooting for the Gators. Kind of came out of nowhere. Start rooting for the Gators, and unfortunately, Shane threw the pick, but I was hooked.
That was unfortunate. The guy was hiding behind the DB. By the way, did you know Tom Archdeacon?
I did.
Great writer in Dayton.
Excellent writer.
Miami. He worked with Franz in Miami at the news. By the way, people asking about Franz tonight. He's got a lot going on there with his mom and the weather, and she had to be moved. And of course, he lost his stepfather and lost his pet bird. But a tough time. So thoughts and prayers to Shane, to Franz out there. Rob, are you excited about this week or not? I'm trying to get
hell yeah.
Buzz.
Absolutely. Man, I wake up every day and say 5 alive. It's going to be a great day, man. Happiness, health, and prosperity.
No doubt.
and I remember that Florida game because it was the day after I got married, and so it was freezing cold in Birmingham, and again, people forget the next year in the rain. I think Florida won 28-13, and that's why they moved the game to Atlanta. So, the first two, those were epic games. And, buddy, you remember Boyd McWhorter, the old commissioner of the SEC. I was in Birmingham. A girl I dated when I was at Auburn was in a bad car wreck, and I spent the night over at his house one night because he was good friends with some of their friends from Georgia. And I think about him, and then I think about Harvey Schiller going to the NCAA and saying, "Hey, I've got the NCAA rule book here. It's not this then, but he said, it doesn't say anywhere you can't have a conference championship." So think about Harvey Schiller, and then Roy Kramer came along.
Roy Kramer was the guy. He was the man that made it happen.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the most. Is that the biggest game and the biggest single play in college football history?
Well, they call it the play that saved college football. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, I think ESPN coined it best. And I mean, it's funny how, and all of us are faith-based guys. I mean, you think about how the world works and where we are now with the game that we have, and take the NIL and the money grab out of it. I mean, the game is as popular as it has ever been, and is gigantic, and it could have all been for naught. I mean, think about some of the unbelievable college plays we've had just in some of the other conference championship games that we've had, and things like that. Guys like Bill Snyder that have been immortalized because of wins in championship games and things like that, when Kansas State upset Oklahoma that year. And I mean, just all those games that wouldn't have taken place if we didn't have the conference championship games. I mean, there was some big games, and just a lot of things. I mean, the legend of Tim Tebow, was helped by, those conference championship games and things like that. I mean, just all of those things. I mean, Florida winning in, if they don't go to that conference championship game, they probably don't get to win in 2006. You know that, buddy. You chronicled all that. I mean, it just so
it's huge. It was such a big thing, and people forget Percy Harvin didn't play in that SEC championship game. He played, and really, I was talking to Feinbaum one day about this. Urban had won his national championships, and was good. Urban has a third crack at Saban, and Saban was obsessed with this. He had his team ever since they got beat the year before, and they went on to win the national championship. He ran his practices about 365 beat Florida. That's all they thought about every single day. And that was, they were obsessed because Florida had run the ball down their throat to win that game after they threw the touchdown pass, but they were physically beating up the Pounces, were just having their way with the Alabama defense. So he was just amazed. And so imagine if Urban had beaten him in that third matchup, like Feinbaum said, Urban would be Nick Saban. Think about it. We were there in that huge moment, that moment where axes turn in college football. Let me ask you guys one more thing before we go off here. We're getting out of time. There's a lot of talk now about the emphasis of conference championships.
Yeah.
And people don't seem to value other places because the conference doesn't mean that much out in the West or whatever. We here at Florida and in the SEC always thought that's like the Holy Grail. That's where you punch your ticket to the national, you win that game. And like Spurrier said, we didn't care about there was no national championship. He didn't have any conference championship game either. But the bottom line is that can vault you to the top. Are we going to see? I'll give you each a crack at answering this. Are we going to see, as they expand the playoff teams? You know they will. They're going to go up to whatever number that's going to be, 24, 32, whatever it's going to be. Maybe they'll use the bowls in there, which would be good. Then are they going to be able to continue playing conference championships? Not only that, but there are no more pure conferences. We don't even know what teams are in the league. I'll start with Loren, and then Rob, you can wind up. What do you think?
I will say they will be important. I mean, they won't be important to get you in the playoffs, but if there is the thought that a bye is better than playing that first week, I think the bye will be where the championship game will become important because they're going to rank those top 4, top 6 of the conference championship games. Those winners of the conference, I think they will get the byes, and that will be where the importance will remain. I don't think it will be as important to punch your ticket. For instance, I think Alabama all but solidified if they're in the same position next year, instead of an SMU, instead of even like a Tennessee, even though Tennessee probably would have made it either way. But, those type of situations, I think the conference championship games will at least be there to seed 1 through 4, 1 through 6. And I think winning the conference championship will play an important role there. But there will be also some that will think the week off is better than playing in that conference championship game. For instance, in an SEC championship game, that could be a war. So, there will be coaches that'll say, well, we're glad we didn't make it anyway. Just put us in the playoff and we'll go buckle it up.
All right, so Rob, I'll give you a last shot. By the way, you got the show tomorrow night. Is that correct, Loren?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any early inclusions of people you're going to be on yet?
Not yet. I was going to talk to the boss, and we'll work it from there.
All right. my Gator Timex. Thank you, Tyler, my stepson, for my present.
That's nice. That's slick.
Like it.
Timex says we're overdue by 2 minutes. We got a full minute for Rob to respond.
Yeah. I think conference championship games are on the way out. I think it's a lot like baseball. You saw the Braves in 23 had to sit for a week while the Phillies, who finished behind them, had the hot bats, and they clocked the Braves. They got knocked out. That's where we're going to go. I also think we're going to go to 14, 16, 24, 32. And the bowls, for the most part, will be playoff games. I don't like buys. I think everybody ought to have to play right off the bat, just like we do in March Madness. But I think that's where we're going.
All right, Rob, tomorrow on Sidelines, tune it in. It's a good show. They got some guy named Martin who also is involved there. And Loren,
fun.
Yeah, Loren, tomorrow night we'll be watching you on the same time.
Yes, sir. We're gonna reach out to Rob Brown, I know, and see if he's available.
I'm ready. I'm available.
Always available.
Yes.
All right.
I love being on y'all's show.
My partner in crime, for sure.
Right,
Tuesday night.
Have a good night. Thanks. All right. And let me tell you, folks, about my good friends at get there. Here we go. There you go. That's not it. Oh, I'm looking for no. All right. Anyway. Yeah, I was just trying to tell you about our sponsors in Ocala, our good friends that we hadn't had for years and years and years. We're going to get there. We had their QR code up, didn't have it. So, yeah. So, if you need to know about your health, you do, who doesn't, you need to know about what to do in terms of getting tested and what have you. And there are people who make that possible by doing clinical trials. Those clinical trials are really, really important. And there are things that we should find out from you that lead to treatments that we need to know about. So I'm going to encourage you to do some of that. And let me see, I just made an emergency call by mistake on my phone. And I want you to be sure and know that there are people out there who have got your interest at heart, and that they would like you to know that clinical trials, the superior facility like Red Star Medical Research, has got your best interest at heart. If you have the opportunity, go on redstar.net and check out what they do on a regular basis, and they offer you a chance to be a part of things There's simple clinical trials on diseases like, everyday diseases in some cases that could help you know more about your health and also help the people at WinStar and help them help us in our community. WinStar Medical Research is known for that. They're also a very stable group of people who've been around for a long time, have sponsored this show, and we're forever grateful for that as well. I know that Joe Sorrentino, my good friend, and Mary Brantley, the wife of Scott Brantley. And by the way, Joe's son, Joey, is a superb dentist at Marion Dental in Ocala and in Lady Lake as well. If you have the opportunity and need to go see a dentist, I highly recommend that. I've done that, and I recommend you do so also. So anyway, so WinStar Medical Research is where you want to go. Go to their website, check it out, and take part in it. And be something that you'll be doing for everybody, including yourself. And we want you to do that. All right. So we'll say have a great night, and we'll see you back here. Well, not till Thursday. No show tomorrow night, but Loren will be on hosting. And then on Wednesday night, we're taking the holiday and watch the football game. So we will see you back on Thursday with the regular crew. We're not able to get Franz tonight. He had some issues at home to take care of. We all wish he and his family all the best, and we know that he's had a lot of difficulties. So be sure you include your thoughts and prayers, include Franz and those. It's been a tough week for him as well. So, all right, folks, have a great night. Thanks to our guests and sponsors.